Again, so where does the water want to go? It wants to go toward the salt. The water's going to come out of the cell, and what happens to it? It's shriveled up. Okay? So, this happens, well, let me see. This right here happens to you guys. Can I tell you, go live in the water? Go live in the lake. Okay? Now, forget the whole breathing thing, because you can always go to the surface to breathe. But why can't your body be sitting in water all the time? Okay, well, if I put you in a pool of just plain water, where is there more salt? In your body or in the water? In your body. So where's the water going to go? Yes, the water will go into your body. Okay? So, I don't know if y'all noticed, if you've been swimming for a long time in a pool or some sort of fresh water, when you get done swimming, you always need to not necessarily get cold. You get hungry because you burn a lot of calories. Okay? But you will absorb water from the pool. Okay? You'll absorb water from the pool because there's more salt in your cells than there are outside the pool. Now, what if you went swimming in the ocean where it's really salty, like in the bay? Like in a... So there's more salt in the water than there is in your body. So where's the water going to go? Out of your body, and you'll get dehydrated from being in salt water. Yes. Okay? So, this actually happened to me. I wasn't even in a pool. This summer we went hiking, and we hiked up this mountain. We got on the top of the mountain, and right as we got to the top, it started raining balls. I'm serious. It was coming in sideways. Those great big old drops. It felt like somebody was throwing pebbles at it, and how hard they were coming in. Okay, now, rain is fresh water or salt water? Fresh water. Okay? So now my clothes are covered with water, within like 2 or 3 minutes, and I keep on more and more water is being rained down on me. Guess what happened? We quit drinking water. We were hiking and we were drinking water, but we quit drinking water because we were trying to get out of the damn rain. But then we still had to stop to take leaks 2 or 3 times because we absorbed all that fresh water through our skin. Okay? So yes, that will happen. Well, yeah. Now there's another thing. When you sweat, you do lose some salt, yes. But still, inside my body, for my body to work, I need those nutrients in my cells. So there are going to be some salt in my body. It's definitely going to be, as long as it's more salt in my body than out, the water's going to go in. Does that make sense to you guys? Water wants to dilute things. So with that in mind, let's think about the saltwater fish. The saltwater fish is adapted to that environment. So its cells will equilibrate with what's outside of its body. So you'll have the same amount of salt inside the cell as you do in the salt water. So the water doesn't go out or in. It's completely isotonic. Okay? It's not going to gain or lose any water because it has the same amount of salt inside the fish as it does out. Well, what happens when I take this cell from the saltwater fish and I put it into a freshwater solution? Then water will go into that cell and they'll swell up. And essentially its cells will drown and they could even burst. Okay? So they would swell up so much that fish couldn't do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it would swell up. I don't know if y'all see, y'all know how frogs breathe? Frogs have skin that's very absorbent. Y'all ever seen a frog that got trapped in a pool? Okay, well, we had a pool when I was in high school. And, frogs will hop in there and then they can't get out. There's no way for a frog to hop out. And so they get caught in those little traps on the side of the pool. And then we would go and clean out those traps and there'd be frogs and they'd just be like completely fat. And all you could see was like just their little paws sticking out. because they were in that fresh water for so long that they absorbed all that water. That has nothing to do with this discussion. And as far as I know, no, because warts on humans are caused by HPV, which is human papillomavirus. That's a frog. Frogs shouldn't be carrying human papillomavirus.
Thank you.
So, back to our scenario. What kind of fish do we have? Saltwater fish. And if we put them in a freshwater aquarium, what's going to happen to that fish? It's going to swell up. It's going to absorb too much water. Look at the answer choices. The tissue of the saltwater fish would absorb too much acid. The organs of the saltwater fish would produce too much protein. No. Guys, again, we weren't talking about acid. We weren't talking about protein. We're talking about saltwater or freshwater. The organ systems of the saltwater fish would consume too much energy. That has nothing to do with it. The cells of the saltwater fish would gain too much water. Yes, because that fish already has the right amount of salt in its cells. When we take the salt away from the water, it goes in, the cells swell up, they absorb too much water. Okay? What would happen if I took a freshwater fish and I put it in saltwater?
You would die.
All the water would absorb out of the fish and it would shrivel up. Okay? There are some fish that live in what they call brackish water, and that is in an area where the river meets the ocean.
Like a delta?
Yeah, something like that. And so the water there it mixes, so it's lightly salty, so to speak. And those fish have a wider range that they can travel in. There are even some fish, what's the one that swims upriver? No, there's the ones that go up. Salmon, right? Salmon live out in the ocean, but then they travel up fresh water to go spawn. So they have figured out some way to adjust the amount of salt in their cells so that this doesn't happen. Okay? So some fish are doing some fish cannot. Okay? So there are freshwater sharks. There's even saltwater crocodiles. There's crocodiles that live in freshwater, but they